I would like to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you today from the lands of the Gayamaygal people. I would like to extend my respect to elders past and present and any First Nations people watching. Sovereignty was never ceded. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land.
Lovely. Honor your lands. And I'm speaking to you from the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish peoples. And I am very honored to be on their lands and speaking to you from the beautiful Pacific Northwest here in Vancouver, Canada.
Hello, everybody. Today we are back chatting about Motherland, Fort Salem, and the awesome representation that the show provides to so many communities. Today, joining me once again, you can all see, is the altruistic ex-fixer who gave up everything in favor of building a better world for her daughter, Rael. Season 3 sees a slightly different Willa gracing our screens, just a tad. But ultimately, her mission stays the same, to protect her daughter with everything that she's got. It's an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to welcome back the amazing Diana Pavlovská.
Yay, thank you for having me. It's so wonderful to be back, and thank you for reaching out. We never know what's going to happen.
Yes.
And things happen. So lovely to be back. So grateful. Thank you.
Well, I'm very grateful you're here. So how has Willa's character sort of shifted from season 2 to season 3?
Undead, sort of.
Yeah.
Alive, dead, not really, alive, dead, not really, alive, dead. So I don't know. How's that for an answer?
Yeah.
Well, as you know, we leave season 2 with Willa in the nether regions.
Yep.
Of the mycelium. That sounded terrible. In the nether world of the mycelium, having given up what she did for Rael. And then we do get to see her back in the twisted world of what's happening with the mycelium. We remember that amazing scene where all
the witch plague,
just sort of ate her alive, and that is now poisoning the mycelium. So Willa now sits in this limbo land of how much is her, how much is poison mycelium, and trying to navigate the world from there. So it's a lot has changed in her demeanor, in where she starts off in season 3 is a very, very different place.
Yeah, absolutely. We spoke last time quite a bit about Willa's psychology, about how her motivations and everything always came back to protecting living and, as you said, like ultimately dying for Rael. Rael has always been Willa's priority, but the poison mycelium has twisted that. I sort of thought about it like Uncanny Valley. Like, it's comfortable, it's, it's the room, it's meant to be pleasant, but like there's this darkness and fear underneath this supposedly comfortable space. What was it like for you to navigate that change, like you're talking about, and play with the light of what is Willa and the darkness of that poison mycelium?
Well, yeah, when they say like, oh, I'll be different when I win the lottery, I'll be a better person, I'll be a philanthropist, and then it's like gone in 5 years. I think it's this thing that the mycelium just took the thing that was fiercest about her and to a place where it was like the priority is the same, but like the darkest version of that priority. So it's like you sort of strip away the reason and the balanced thinking, although we question how balanced the choices were. They were very like, she's always been Mama Bear. But it's like you take it away and it sort of exposes that darkest side. So her biggest priority is protecting Rael, but it becomes like this dark version of she will destroy everything to protect her. She will destroy the people to protect her. So it's like that. It's an interesting place because the love didn't change.
Yeah.
The expression of sane levels of love to insane
Yeah.
was playing in that spectrum. And so, and so we had conversations, we're talking, it's like that core remains. Just take it to that place where now you're the one, you're the last standing, fighting any zombie that might come. It's like that kind of level.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it kind of lands for her.
Yeah, definitely. Like it was Willa was thinking that she was the only one capable of protecting Rael, that nobody else, even though, Willa knows Scylla, she spent a lot of time with Scylla and she knows Scylla's, where Scylla's heart is. But in that space, the mycelium sort of stripped away her memories, I guess, of other people, and just goes, no, you are the only one who can protect her.
It's like that single-minded objective focus, and that was it. And the mycelium, because it is poisoned, the clear mistrust that Willa has for most
for everybody,
for kind of everything, that just gets so, that plays, and that just gets so amplified in that poisonous space to a really a scary degree.
Yeah. And I bet that sort of linked to that mistrust, I always felt was attached to a lot of fear with Willa. That fear of losing her daughter and fear of, her going into this very dangerous space. So, in a lot of ways in our current world, fear is what motivates some of the worst decisions that are made by, people in positions of power, and also just people every day.
Fear and also being persecuted for her choices.
Yeah.
And so just that whole like, nobody's going to tell me how to do this.
Yeah.
I know how to protect my daughter the best, and I'm going to do it. So that, both of those, I agree with you.
How was it for you to reconnect with Taylor, but also to work with her under these sort of extreme circumstances?
Oh God. So, the scene where she's like, Mom, and I'm like just scurry. How are your headphones? Wake up. As you lovingly are up so early for me.
No, I would wake up early for you anytime, Diana. Let that be very clear.
So sweet. I'm so sorry. So our first scene and consequently, her day back was where I literally had to scream my head off at her. So I run into the room to like explode, Scylla's voice coming through and talking through and scream my face off at her. So nice. We're back in the tiny little room, 5 feet away from each other. Yeah. And I'm like, I can appreciate what you've gone through these last, this last while. Let me scream my face off at you. So, it was great to see her again. And we just chatted and hugged and, and we just sort of walked to set kind of arm in arm and came down. And I'm like, listen, me, I'm going to go full scream. And I know I'm supposed to be protecting my voice, but, in the heat of the moment, you just go. And you try to find that balance. But it's hard not to. And I'm like, you tell me what you need, because I don't want this to, absolutely. Just, everything that she had gone through. Yeah. So it was just really nice. We just, every time I would scream my face off, we just go and hold each other's hand and be okay. And just kind of, be in each other's space while everybody reset and just kind of hold each other for a moment and then go back and do it again. So it was nice that it was just us getting to kind of reconnect. Yeah. And also really like that scene, like 2 hours of me blasting her face off.
Oh, poor gal.
But she was so great. She's like, I'm okay. Like, I know, let's just, so and by this point we kind of have a shorthand together. So it was good. But long-winded answer to your question is, and it was great.
No, I love that. I think my favorite scene between Willa and Rael was that little picnic scene we know how much love that Willa has for Rael, and we know how much love that Rael has for Willa, through you know, the various complications with their relationship. But it was lovely to have that moment of both of them just going, no, I see you, and Willa being like, no, this is me.
It was so, that was such a nice, you know, our little grassy environment.
Yeah.
You know, it's all green screen. You're like, whoa, what is this going to look like? But
Yeah.
we have, it was nice to be able to kind of come down and go, hey, it's me. Like, for real, this is the most real Willa you're going to get. Yeah. That was close to one of our last days of shooting. Yeah, we did get to build up to that, you know, how everything's out of order, but that was one of the last things we did. Yeah, so it was,
that's so nice.
Yeah. It was hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my God, goodbye again. But you feel like there's at least, you know, some, I don't know, a bit more hopeful connection, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of season 3 was very, the like through line for it, for me, the thing that carried through the most was hope and, you know, love. And sort of, I kept thinking about our last conversation while I was watching season 3. I was like, oh, you kept saying, you know, give people around you a hug. And I was like, yes, because that, like, you never know when your last moment is going to be with a person. And Rael sort of got to have those, you know, like final goodbyes a few times with Willa, but having that last one be, I mean, it was a credit to you and to Taylor, because the energy of that scene was really hopeful, in its sadness and in its melancholy. The entire time I was just like, Diana, you're killing me.
Oh, that's very generous. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, when we hug, we're like, oh no. It's like, no, really, you know. Yeah, it was really nice the way they wrote it, and I'm glad it was written in a like you're saying, in a hopeful way, and in a grounded way. It leaves us going, okay, there is a path forward.
Yeah,
and that's nice.
So the sort of other two key relationships that we got to see Willa having throughout the entire 3 seasons were with Scylla and with Edwin. And we got that beautiful scene in 6 with Quinn summoning Willa, half not Willa, down from the mycelium, so that Scylla and Edwin could beg for Rael to come home. How do you think, first of all, it was for Willa? Because that scene was very much, it felt like connecting the two halves and sort of bringing real Willa back to the front. How was it for you to sort of act that very complicated set of emotions that you very clearly went through on screen?
Yeah, it was that was a good, wonderful, long, hard day. It was because that moment in the moment prior where she hears Quinn's voice coming through, and then all of a sudden she goes. You know, it's like when you're, it's like she's going from poison to clear to poison to clear. So there's the lucidity, and then there's the like, who are you, what's happening? And you know, and we you just sort of try to do your best in navigating how you listen. Like, what are the either key words or the tone of somebody's voice or the phrase they use, or some of the key triggers that pull you back into like normal Willa. We'll call her normal Willa. and you know, so it was playing with that as we were going through, and things like him turning around, him grabbing my hand, you know, and then turning me around, and it's like, what is this? You know, like the recognition of what is this touch, and is this familiar? And you know, like it's that idea, you know, it's that idea of you're floating in and out of reality, and what are those things that or in and out of lucidity, I guess. And it's sort of what are the things that pull you? And then what are the things that kind of put you back?
Yeah.
You know, so the fighting and the begging and the mistrust and them trying to put the love through that. It literally was just, for me as an actor, I just tried to stay in the moment and allow myself to go from here to you're lying, to here to what's your angle from, and just kind of play that swing. Which happened a lot in that little scene.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It felt like a massive like push and pull the entire time. I have had a lot of mental health things in the past, had problems with my mental health. And one of the things that I suffered with quite a lot is dissociative episodes where I would just feel like I would just not be present in my own mind and in my own body. There was always things that would anchor me back. I always sort of thought about it as like dropping back into myself. It would be like a texture or the sound, specifically the sound of my mum's voice would be something that would make me go, no, I'm still here. I am still human. And I was just overwhelmed, and I can come back and I can feel things. So that was sort of when I was watching your performance in that, I was like, this feels like Willa's going in and out of a dissociative state.
And that's exactly it. And it's those, like you're saying, those anchors that pull you back, and then, that pull you back here, and then the triggers that take you out again. And It's like kind of going between those two. And that's what you're describing is sort of where her mental state was.
Yeah.
And physically, I mean, she's in this world that is, that is poisoned.
There were sort of two lines that sort of just like wrecked me for in that scene as well when I watched it the first time, where I was like, wow, that is but the first one I'd love to talk a little bit about the relationship with Willa and Scylla was Scylla's, if you don't let me come back, then take me with you because I can't go on without her. That I just felt in my bones was Scylla's attempt to translate that intense love for Rael. So sort of how was it for you to sort of to navigate the Scylla-Willa relationship in that moment, and also to reconnect with Amalia, because you two had so much time together in season 2.
It was so good.
Absolute power team.
Like, it's like, it's like putting on that comfy pair of jeans. It's like, there you are. So it was so good to get to work with her again.
Yeah.
And sneak off to Crafty, which we did first thing. And go raid the donut pile in the
Yay!
But that's the thing that we talked about earlier, was that assessment of what's real and what's most important. And that commitment from Scylla, it like gets through. That's one of the anchors, because in, like we talked about, in that state, the one thing that is always constant with Willa is her dedication and loyalty and commitment and protection of Rael. So having that, come from Scylla, that's a little mini anchor point. When how do I say this? It's like when we feel vulnerable, we go back and think about all the things that we mistrusted, right? And the first thing that Scylla did in their first, meeting that we see about them is, you were supposed to bring me back my daughter, and you didn't. So how easy is it to go back to those moments where you're just like, let's go back and revisit that, shall we? Even though all this
we need to have a conversation.
Like all this amazing stuff has transpired. Here we are, right back at the first moment of like, what the hell? So, it's kind of playing from beginning to commitment. From the poison mindset to the now mindset, all in a second.
Well,
and it was just nice because we could just sort of be there with each other and kind of explore what it looked like.
I think like what really came through, and what I think constantly comes through with when you act opposite Amalia, is sort of how much you both like to play with the moment, because I'm sure there were many different ways that scene could have been played, but you two managed the intensity and the height of it, and also it gave everybody watching that like
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for that. Thank you. It was nice to be able to it's nice to be able to drop back in and, play with those moments. So nice. And we've had some of those, like when we said goodbye, like close that door.
The other sort of key moment in that scene, for me at least, was that moment of shifting when you and Rothgar like met eyes. They tried to kill our little girl. That line, I was like, that's a personal attack, Diana. That one really just like, that felt like a stab. This intense, I guess, parental grief. Willa's fear was so prevalent, and it was right at the front of her identity for a moment, which we haven't really gotten to see, because she's constantly mama collar, really strong, ready to fight for everything she loves. And in that moment, she was just with the man that she loves and able to be scared. What was it like to share in that intensity with Rothgar? Because even though, your characters are married, we don't really get to see much interaction between Willa and Edwin. So yeah, how was that to share that intensity with him, and also to have that sort of cathartic exchange?
Yeah, well, first of all, Rothgar is just a million bows because he's wonderful. So it doesn't matter which way the camera is pointing, Rothgar will go every single time. So even,
Amazing.
we're on me for half an hour, whatever it is, and nothing on him but the back of his pants, he's still going 1,000%. So incredible. Just such a generous actor. It's like if you had one sentence, it's like if you had one sentence with somebody to say the one thing that you could say to them, and that would be the only thing that you could say, what would that thing be? And given everything and what she's done to the family, I mean, she made choices and had a lot of other people's consequences as well. And so to try to have that one moment to just tell him why, so that he understood, was, it's like, like we talked about, right? The hug. What would be the one sentence that you would want to, so that they understood, if you could explain it. And that was it. And so when we get to actually have this, and I'm not like killing him and slicing our daughter's throats, we actually, I would say that was, until we get to the picnic, that is the most back in the world that she truly is. Like out of the poison at that moment. And that it's like, you have to understand why. You have to. This was the one reason for all of it. So, her attempt to share, beg forgiveness, express their shared, their deep shared love. Like this is the most important thing to both of them. It was so, he made it so easy, because he was, God, you just turn around and you look at those blues, and it's just hey, pouring out. I'm like, you're killing me. So it was easy, and it was gut wrenching. And that's the way that I thought about it, that it was the one chance to say it, one sentence, if I could.
And it's like that, you don't normally in the real world get that opportunity, right? You never know when it's going to be the last moment that you have with somebody, sort of like we talked about before. The ultimate through line is love, and that's where we should always get to.
I hear you, and kind of having the, given the honor of being able to play this, that's on my mind too. It's like, where do I need to be able to be, where can I be more genuine, or where can I balance what I'm feeling with, the situation as well, so that, one doesn't overtake. I hear you. I hear you.
We got to see Rael come back proposed to Scylla with Willa's ring, which was just hugely beautiful and a lovely moment from Taylor. If Willa had physically been able to be at the wedding, what pearls of wisdom do you think she would have wanted to share with Rael and her sort of new daughter-in-law? But Scylla's been a daughter-in-law for a while, so it's okay.
Yeah. It would have been this idea around the voice. And the voice is such a foundation.
Yeah.
And finding your voice and having your voice and not having your voice taken from you is pivotal. It's where everything stems.
Definitely.
And so it would have been something around the along the lines of making sure that they share their voice, they honor each other's voice, and they keep bringing their voice and singing their songs further and continuing to amplify other voices. And I think that's something, if I were to do the toast for them, it would have been something around that.
That's lovely. What point in the ceremony do you think she would have just lost it? Where do you think she would have started crying?
God, at the beginning. I think Willa has just been holding it for so long and has had to hold it for so long that she would have just been like I think Willa would have been a puddle on the floor. I do. Because she's always just so strong that I think it just would have been like the total opposite.
Yeah. I had when I was watching that scene, I remember going, oh, if Willa was there, there would have been, a moment of her just standing holding Edwin's hand and then both just being sort of semi-hysterical.
Or fully.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Are there any sort of little behind the scenes moments or funny moments that you'd like to share with the fans?
Amalia and I being the little conniving shits that we are, it's terrible. We did sneak off. We're like, we're going. And there was no, we were shooting in this beautiful heritage home and you're not supposed to go in and out. And they had everything set up and beautiful carpets and stuff. So we carried our shoes out back behind the producers and we snuck out this side door and sort of I shouldn't be telling this, and we had to scaled down this little staircase up the side and hauled ass, and then we had to sneak ourselves back in, and the main thoroughfare you're not allowed to go through, or else everybody would know that we were MIA. So then we had to sort of sneak back up and crawl and then pretend that we had been there the whole time because we're really bad. And that's what we were doing at
to go get some snacks.
10 o'clock at night, all for their glorious muffins and donuts that we love so much. I know, it's terrible. They'd be like, oh my God, where are they? And we're off in La La Land. It's I thought it was there. It's no. And then, we had to have a personal escort because we were really bad.
They gave you a kid's getting you from point A to point B.
It's no, you're being accompanied from now on. You cannot be trusted. All revolves around sneaking off and eating.
What has playing Willa sort of meant to you? And are there any lessons from her that you will carry forward?
It's been such a thrill, and the fandom has been so incredibly generous with the character and with the show, and I'm so glad she was written the way she was written, because it's not about perfection, it's about intention and evolving, I think. And so Willa's not anywhere close to perfect, but I think exactly. And this idea, and sometimes it just can kind of, but it has to be perfect. and it's just so not healthy. So I think that I think Willa gives me the sense that, we try to make the best choices kind of based on values, and they may not always be right, but what's important is to take a step back and reflect and adjust and move on.
Yeah.
So it doesn't kind of pay to beat oneself up.
Yeah.
It's more productive if I can like take that step back and look and go, okay, I did these things based on that. So these are the things I want to keep about that. And these are the things I want to try to adjust.
Yeah.
So I think that idea really came through, and that I think has been something that I take away. And this idea of really taking a step back and going, so what is important? What do I really value? Because like, I want to make sure that I'm prioritizing what I value. Like the dog. And so, all the little things in life, but like what, and kind of
the things that bring you joy. If the thing that brings you joy is your dog, then that's absolutely the priority. And honestly, Zora brings me joy too. So
I think that's what Willa gives me in kind of my mindset and how I think and want to continue to think. And the strength with the forgiveness, I think is a really healthy combination.
I am a stubborn shit, and I know that I am. And so those moments those moments with Willa where she's really just gone, okay, I'm accepting that I was on the wrong side here, and I'll learn and I'll grow and I'll forgive myself and the people around me. That's something that I will, I think, forever hold very close to my heart. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm so glad, and I feel the same way. I'm very stubborn and come from a long line of a very strong-willed family, which is, great and requires self-forgiveness and evolving.
A little bit of work.
A little bit of work. So yeah.
What zodiac sign are you?
I am a Libra Scorp cusp.
Nice. That the Scorp is that stubbornness.
Right there. Right in the middle.
The incredibly diverse cast and the characters and the stories in Motherland were just cemented the show in the hearts of so many fans. And whether it gets a second life or not, fans are still fighting. The world has been left in a better state for having experienced Motherland. So what sort of wrapping up do you hope for the legacy of Motherland and for the fans to sort of carry from these 3 seasons?
Community, listening, taking each other's voice and amplifying it, and creating a space of acceptance, I think these are, like it's, we talked about this last time. I mean, what the fandom is doing to get the show continued is just mind-boggling and amazing. And I also want to say, like, make sure that you're taking your resources and pointing them toward, your family and your community, and making sure that you're taking care of, those around you as well, because it's amazing what people are doing, and that's so gracious and generous, and thank you. And making sure that, people are taken care. And so I would say that really looking to create that space where we can amplify each other, listen to each other, disagree, and still keep growing like that, and create healthy discourse, I think is really, I mean, you where like a character like Willa started, and that's, it was like terrorist class, to where she is. And I and I'm not making a political commentary. What I'm saying is, by any stretch, what I'm saying is keeping conversations open and listening helps us to understand and to create more empathy and to create spaces where we get to hear everybody's voice.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would say is like, I hope continues to, you know, grow from this, and people are able to find, you know, some solace in that. And some community in that, and find their voice in that. The stories that people share with me are just, you know, gut wrenching and so personal. And then on, you know, the end of it is, and I see that there are more people like me. Like I have more of a community of voices like this, where I can have that experience and someone else has that same experience. And it's nice. It's nice. That's what, you know, it needs more. It needs more. Like it needs more and more and more and more of all of the representation of voices.
Yeah, definitely. I think sort of what Motherland will carry forward for so many people is the fact that they have felt seen, heard, and loved by the show, by the writers, and also by you guys. And just be assured that no matter where you go, no matter if there is a second life of Motherland or if it is in new projects coming up, you have a legion of dedicated and loving fans who will follow you in your work for years to come. And I'll be in there going off for dinner. So you have got a lot of love and will have so much continued love from the community that Motherland has built.
And reciprocity back. This doesn't exist without you. So this is symbiotic. Thank you.
If I can steal 2 more minutes of your time, we can play a quick little game. You're looking for him. I will list off some characters and your co-stars, and you just tell me what you think their dream or ideal pet would be, if it's by vibes or by
like that they are, or that they would want.
That they would want. So you could also, or you could go with familiar. What suits their soul the most. Okay. So if we start with Edwin.
Okay, Edwin would be a horse.
Okay.
Or have a horse. It just, you know, he's always there.
Steady.
Take everybody stable where they need to go, where they need to be.
Okay, and then Rothgar. What is he? Same. Sort of similar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Alder?
Alder's like Alder's a lioness.
Yeah.
Alder's a lioness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's just got that. Yeah.
Versus Lynn.
Lynn has that though. Lynn does have that. She's like, she's got that. I'm on a mission. I'm gonna move forward. She's got that.
Nice.
A little bit.
Nice. Tally. Sweet Tally.
Sweet Tally. Oh God, like Jess. Like she's just, I don't know, she reminds me of a koala bear. Just like hug.
Yes.
Just hug. And I think Jess is like that too. I mean, she's strong and she's tough and she's ass whooping, but she's just still like koala.
I was lucky enough to receive a couple of hugs from Jess when I chatted to her in person, and I absolutely attest that is so true. just so like this, like being with her is like a hug. So yeah,
it's
I
like
agree.
A hug. Yeah.
Hey, if you come to Sydney, we can go and we can pat some koalas. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna make this happen.
Okay, Scylla. We sort of see her with her crow, but what do you think?
Yeah. You know, it's like that bird, that raven, that like, you know, and Amalia's the same way, because she's always looking and searching and wanting to dig in and find answers. And how do we uncover this? And how do we unpack this? And there's this like always looking, which like in a great way, just like I want more. I want to know more. I want to understand more.
Yeah, it's got that like inquiring mind. Raelle.
God, Raelle is like, she's like a wolf.
Yeah.
She's like a wolf. She's like steady, can fight, loves the pack, can be alone. She's like got that.
Yeah, I rate that definitely.
That leader.
And then Compare that. What do you reckon Taylor's is?
Taylor's such a fuzzy bunny. But she has that too. And she's like, because she has that strength. And then she has that like just cozy, you just, kind of scoop her up. But she has that too. Like it's like a balance.
Yeah, definitely.
See both,
Nice.
Go in and out easily. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. And so Willa.
Yes!
Willa. Yes. Zorro. Hi, Zorro. He's like, why am I here again?
He's like, Zorro is funny because he's such a little pack animal. Like he loves, you see him, he loves his family. He just looks like a little crazy puppy. He loves his family, but he's also like, has this independent thing. Yeah. So he's very like, okay, I'm going to do my thing. And then on the other side of it, he's like, I'm going to have my family. Where's my family? I want my family. And I think I'm like that. I do think I'm like that.
Yeah.
Zorro means fox in Spanish. Burrow, and he loves to like be hugged and cuddled. And he's a fox. He's also like a bit of a shit.
Yeah.
So like I think that kind of sums me up. A cuddly little shit. There, I think that kind of sums me up.
That's probably that should be your new like Instagram bio. I agree.
Right? Cuddly with a hint of a little shit.
Yeah. I mean, same. Absolutely same.
What would yours be?
Oh, mine would be my little rat man. Hold on, give me literally 1 second. He's right here.
I want to see.
He's so sleepy because of how early it is. But it'd be Archie. My little cute little rat. There he is. Yeah. And I relate to there's a joke that orange cats all share one brain cell. So I relate to that because sometimes there's just nothing going on up here, and then also he's literally up on top of my chair right now.
He's like, that's incredible, and has this incredible balance.
But yeah, so I relate very deeply to a little orange cat.
Oh, sweet. So cuddly.
He's a sweet little guy. Okay, so that sort of brings us to the end. Thank you so much for this chat, for your time. I would love to do it again, whether it's about more Motherland or about a project in the future. I always love chatting to you. Everybody, please make sure you stream Motherland Fort Salem. I just smacked my desk. Please make sure you stream Motherland Fort Salem on Hulu, on Disney Plus if you are in Canada or Australia or other places all over the world. Check your locals.
Thank you to you. Thank you to Archie and for waking up so early, and to everybody and all of the fandom and everybody who's sharing in this. Thank you. A million thank yous. This doesn't exist without you. And for you always being so kind and generous. And I would love to talk with you anytime. So we definitely will.
Thank you so much. You just have the best day. And I'll talk to you very soon.
I will. Thank you so much.
See ya. Bye.
Stay well.